Vulnerability scanning and enumeration using NSE script. Nmap has scripting engine which utilize automation script written in NSE format or in a Lua based format. The script you can find or available script you can find from the location which is user share Nmap and scripts. There are lots of scripts available. You can count it with wc-l for listing. There are total 603 scripts available by default in the latest Nmap at the time the recording is done. You can even write your own script and put it inside that specific folder. The scripts are pretty much easy to understand, which you can even able to read it. I will be focusing on a specific port, which will be port number 21. And I know that on port 21, by default, FTP service is running. So let's just get started. The command is pretty much simple, which is nmap --script equals the specific script you want to execute. So I'm gonna list all the FTP related script. ls and grep for FTP. And there are number of FTP scripts are available. I'll be focusing on FTP anonymous login script, which is the first. So let's just copy and use the same. You can either add .nse at the end or you can ignore. That both means the same. You just have to specify a script or NSE script which you would like to execute against your target service. The target service is running on port number 21, which I'm gonna specify, and my target, of course, which is target 1. Let's hit enter. While script is being executed, let's just try to read that specific script. Here, the output should be something like this. It will going to check the anonymous if the anonymous login is allowed or not. If the anonymous login is allowed, it will going to list all the files with the permissions exist. You can try reading each and every line to understand how the NSE could be formatted and how you can write your own. Here, the script execution is successful for the target service and output is displayed in the response. The response contains FTP anon script output and it says yes, anonymous FTP login is allowed and available files are listed here. You can try connecting to FTP service using anonymous as a username and anonymous as a password to list all the files available here. Let's just do it very quickly. To connect to FTP service, there is a FTP client which by default installed in your Kali Linux. The command is pretty much simple. You just have to type FTP, your target IP address, and the target port. For me, it's 21. As 21 is a default port, you can skip that as well. Here, it asks me a username to connect to that specific service. The username I'll be using as a anonymous. Similarly, I'll use anonymous as my password. Alright, it failed. Let's check why. So it requires anonymous and a small, not in a capital. And I specified all in a capital. So anonymous, username again, and anonymous, the password. And this time it did work. I can see all the output from the target system. Earlier, it did fail because I used the anonymous in a capital. So it is important that you take care of the username you supply. Once you connected to FTP, you can try to put any files available on your system. For me, I'll try to put any basic file. I have a picture. I can try upload that to the destination. And here it's successfully done. When you have the right privilege inside the FTP service, that can go very critical. You can upload your files through here and execute through some different vulnerabilities. Maybe you can upload your PHP shell and execute from your browser, or from by just accessing your HTTP service, your target HTTP service basically. You can also upload ASPX or ASP shell and get the execution from your HTTP service. There can be numerous ways to attack such a scenario, but when you have the upload permission, you have to keep this in mind that you have to upload something here, and later on that could be used or executed from the different service. Another way to connect to FTP service is using your browser. So let's just give it a try. I'll just specify ftp:// and of course my target IP address, which is 10.0.0.14, and let's hit enter. It did work. I successfully able to connect to the target IP address on FTP service. Of course, I cannot upload any files from here, but yeah, I can at least list, or I can verify whether FTP anonymous login is vulnerable or exists on the target system or not. Let's take it with a different way. Let's take it with the different tool. So there is a tool named as a FileZilla that can be even used. So FileZilla, you can just type and the tool will going to pop up. You have to specify your target, your destination target, or user destination target, a username as anonymous, password as anonymous, and port number. Let's just give it a try. So 10.0.0.14, username will be anonymous, and password will be anonymous as well. Port number will be 21, which you can even ignore. Let's just give it a try to quickly connect. Here, it successfully worked and I can see all the files here. You can even try uploading files by just simply doing drag and drop. There is another way to upload files using the FileZilla server. It is simple, right? The file was used, but yeah, it makes sense, right? It successfully uploaded. There are pretty many ways to do the same or perform the same functionality, which you can just look over the internet. The best and simple way to go with the Nmap.